Hey everybody out there, it's Alabama Deep. I'm coming back at you. Alright, so we've had a subscriber. He has sent me his cloned Submariner. We're going to be taking a look at this. Seems to be definitely a little more refined than some, but all in all, it's pretty much the same thing as a triple A. There's a lot of things that they want to have done to this, and we're going to be working on that. My wife's being a little vocal in the kitchen, so you'll probably hear her on and off. So we're looking at this VSF cloned Submariner. We're going to be taking our look at it on the inside. I want the subscriber to see the inside of this. I really do. And I do as well. VSF, not VR, VSF. So we're going to be taking a look inside of this. And we're going to be seeing what's going on. I can already tell you that this is probably, I don't want to hurt the subscriber's feelings at all, but he already knows this to be fact. This is not really the greatest clone Submariner. We can look at the date on the Cyclops. It's not magnified the way it should be. I'm noticing some inaccuracies in the band, the clasp, the crown. I'm seeing a lot of inaccuracies actually. So honestly, I know the subscriber's probably going to hear this because he's waiting to see his watches come out on video. One of them he's already seen, which was the PA005. Pantera. Sorry, I can't pronounce it. Worth a crap. Panerai. I'm sorry. There we go. Panerai. He already knows this to be a fact that there are some issues with this as far as the Cyclops goes, and I see some other inaccuracies on this watch. In my own humble opinion, this would never pass a test with anyone that has any Rolex knowledge at all. It just wouldn't pass. I don't think it's good enough. There's a lot of studying you can do on the watch, and after studying it, you start noticing all the issues that it does have. So he wants me to correct some of that on there. Honestly, I don't know whether I should tell him to start from scratch on this or continue onward with trying to add to this. I'm going to be honest. I know on these, they do have the serial numbers down here at the bottom. I'm not sure. I got one hand. We'll zoom in. I'll see what I can do on that. But yeah, you can see the serials down there. Unfortunately, those are not random serial numbers. That is something that is probably copied on every single one of these watches. So that wouldn't pass. There's no hologram, laser engraved hologram at the 6 o'clock on this. I noticed that that's not on there, and if there is, it's not a very good job. I didn't see one at all. I'll have to look in. I can look at the crystal. You see the blue hue on the crystal? That's a guaranteed sign of a fake. The laser engraving on the Rehalt on the inside, that is not good quality either. The dial looks okay from what I can gather. That looks pretty good. I like the bracelet, but the clasp I don't. There's just a lot of red flags to me on this Submariner. To me, it's just my own humble opinion. It would appear they just took a AAA and then shoved a 3135 clone in it. Kind of like what I do on some of these AAAs that want to upgrade their movement, and I'll put a 3135 VR clone in it. That's what it appears to me, is that's basically what they did. And I'm going to be comparing that. We're going to be doing that theory. We're going to do that check. Actually, we'll do that check right now. Let me see what I got here. I do have old Rusty here. And this is the one I had in my water pressure tester. And I want to look in on it. Let me see what the serial numbers are on this. I'm looking. That is a Z. No, it's an X. Jesus, that's terrible. X something Z75. So let's see if this has the exact same serial number on it. I would like to know myself. Okay, that does not have the exact same serial number. That's good. So that tells me this is not just a AAA body per se, necessarily, unless they had a couple serial numbers that they would just produce in there and just toss them in there. So, okay, that passes the test. But if anyone has these clones out there, do me a favor. If you have a super clone or what have you, I want you to take a look at this serial. And it looks like it's an XZR95X067. I want you to see if you have anything similar on your cloned replica. Let's see if these numbers are in repetition like I think they are, because that's what I'm thinking it is. So it's nice to know it's not a AAA case. That's good, because I was like really looking at it and I'm trying to figure out, okay, what did they do on this watch upon manufacturing? And I got old Rusty here, which, by the way, if you have a AAA, look at that. That's horrible. Upgrade that immediately. You're going to have issues. Oh, okay. Let's just do a comparison of old Rusty and this. So I'm doing a comparison of this. Okay, I can tell by the bezel. I know it's not the same bezel. Let's look at it. One is thicker than the other, it would appear. So that's good. I think the bezel then is a lot better than what is on this AAA. On this AAA, there's no way that passed for a real bezel. This Super Clone seems to have a little bit better of a bezel on it, which is good to know. Let's compare it to another AAA, my Bluesy. Let's just take a look at that, if I can get it into focus. So let's do a check on that. A little bit more close. This one's a little bit flatter than this one. So on my AAA, on the Bluesy, it's thinner than this bezel. I thought this bezel looked a little thick, which was something else that I would say is going to definitely throw it off to someone who knows a real Submariner from one that is just copied. And we can see that too. Let me show you a really good case that'll pass. Okay, so here we have a really good case. See how thin that is compared to that one being a little bit thicker. Or that may be just a little bit. No, I think that bezel's pretty good, because this one is going to be a 1680 compared to the newer. That's apples to oranges. All right, so this bezel does look better. I will give it that. Okay, so that's really, really awesome. Let's compare a real Rolex bezel to this. Let's see how these super clones are passing the test when it comes to that. Let's bring in a real Rolex Submariner bezel, and let's do a comparison. That looks good as far as the pip. Pip looks good. That does look good. I like that. Okay, so confirmed the bezel I think would pass observation wise, someone looking at it. To me, however, the bezel does look a little bit thicker than what it's supposed to be, but not by much. But I don't like the laser engraving a whole lot. And I'm still looking for that hologram that I don't even see on this watch. No hologram at all. But okay, you're not really even supposed to be able to see that hologram. Okay, so the bezel's good. Thickness might be a little thick, maybe off a half a millimeter or so. Taking a guess on that. One thing that I do know, I've already done a comparison, and that is I'm looking at the clasp on this. That clasp is more refined. It is more refined, absolutely. I know that the clasp right here is actually more refined. It is all over more refined. They did put more work into this than others. I'll give it that. One thing I don't like is the grain on the back. I don't care for that at all. There's really no way to get rid of that grain. I would like to see if I could fit an authentic Rolex back on there, but I don't think that's going to work. So, honestly, I don't know. Uh, I think it's might be worthy to go ahead and just upgrade some of the parts on here. Now that I'm comparing everything and looking at it and thinking about it twice for my first thoughts on it. I don't know why I thought it screamed replica when I first saw it. Probably because I look at these more than anybody else. That's probably what I'm going to say. So we're going to be looking at the movement on the inside of this. I want to see how the internals look on the inside of this watch. Now, I do have my diagrams here. I want to be able to show y'all. Can I do it in front of the camera right? Yeah, if I bend the paper. All right, so this shows me the difference. VS3135, what you're looking for on that. Okay, then we have the original, and then you have other parts of that, like the VR, etc., etc. So we're going to be looking at that. Also, when it comes to the back of the movement, we do have the VS, which you're looking on the back. We have the authentic. Then we have the VR right here. So I have all these comparisons to go with, so we can see which version is this. Were they being honest about it? Is it really a VRS? We're going to find out. I would like to know. VSF. I guess that is closer. And I made some other notes here that I'm looking at, so I can determine whether or not this is a VSF or this is a VR. So I do have my notes. I've done my homework on this. And I made those printouts a long time ago, but still it does help to have something to look at. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a look on the inside of this. I wanted to know 100% what is on the inside of this. So we're going to find out. We're going to look inside this puppy. Oh, so what are you getting? And I'm not even sure what he paid on this. I'm not sure. I didn't ask because I think that might be a little rude. So I didn't bother asking him. But I know normally people pay anywhere from $400 all the way up to roughly $800 to $900,000 on what they call a super clone. And honestly, all you have is their good word to go on. That's actually what that is, I just got through getting ripped off on DH Gates, and I'm going to be doing a video on that, and I'm going to be letting people know that, hey, you probably don't need to be going and buying stuff from this particular company because they are ripping me off. And one thing I'm going to go ahead and mention while we're doing this, I've ordered a supposed super clone myself. Yes, I have supposedly ordered a super clone off of DH Gates for $100. Ooh. And we're going to see how full of malarkey they are on that, because I would like to know. Okay, so right off the bat, let's go over just inspection. That feels really good. I can feel the gasket on the inside. That feels like Rolex. The feel of the winding, that feels like Rolex. It really does. So, okay, winding, it gets a pass. It does feel very nice. Okay, looking at the crown gets a pass. This looks very refined. That looks genuine, nearly genuine. Of course, I can tell it's not, but it's very close. So close that I would probably put it on an authentic case just to cut a corner if I was to do an authentic Rolex build. If I absolutely had to. Also, let me go ahead and throw out there, coming up, I have the Rolex giveaway. We're going to be bringing out a winner's name in that. I cannot wait to verify that with everybody. So stay tuned to my videos, because you never know when I'm going to drop a winner. So you better be watching. All right, so I'm being very careful with this movement. Pulling out the pin. The pin looks pretty refined. I like that. That's signs of a high quality replica. Let's look at the back of this. Like I say, that's been polished. I can tell that's been polished. See scratches here and there. But that still doesn't fully pass my test. I can see the grain in there. And seeing the grain of the watch is always a bad thing. Let me know if you've ever seen a genuine Rolex with a grain like that. I have not. Oh, that back is not on good at all. That's to be expected with these Chinese manufacturers. Let that fall off to the wayside. Okay, 32, 35. Okay, first let's stop and let's look at the engraving. Check. That's good. The way this is milled right here, not so much, but who's looking at that, right? So this is a 32, 35. Let me get in there real close, folks. Pardon my head. Let me get in there real close. Let me bring out my little stick. We want to check this movement out. You'll be taking a look at it with me. Let's come in and zoom in. So we're here to check the authenticity of how real does this look. All right, so let's take a look at this movement together. I'm coming in real close. Wow. Okay. Who else wants to take a look at this? Let's come in here. Let's zoom in and we can start taking a look at this. I know y'all going to love it. So let's come in here. Let's take a look at this. First things first. This is very smooth. That's not fake. That is working the way it's supposed to. I'm going to give this a pass. This is beautiful. It's a replica. It's not real, but it is absolutely outstandingly gorgeous. Who here does not agree? And we're going to go ahead and we're going to close this up. Just for right now. Okay, so we've seen the inside. 3235 clone. It definitely looks like it's a VSF. I don't think they were being BS'd on that at all. It looks like it is what they say it is. I'm just wondering what they paid for that. I would like to know. That's a very nice movement. It's comparable to my 3235. It looks almost identical. It's very nice. It's very nice. So if I had to guess, something like this is around probably maybe, and I know the subscriber has not told me what they paid for it yet. As I mentioned, I find that to be rude, so I'm just not going to blurt out what, hey, how much you pay for that? If I had to take a guess looking at this, this is a $500 to $800 clone. That's what I'm going to guess. If I'm right or wrong, he'll probably send me a text message to my phone and he'll let me know. But yeah, that's very pretty. Very pretty. Okay, so this is a very nice one. This is definitely going to be a keeper. Definitely a keeper at this point. It does have a few issues that we need to work on. I would like to compare it to a real one of this model to see how close they actually got, considering a lot of Submariners look alike. They're so, what's the right word? They're so close to being always about the same, but each year, each model is going to have differences in that, of course, to where it's not the same. Fonts will be different, writing on it will be a little bit different. I would like to know, looking at a real one, how close do they get it? My initial feelings are they got pretty darn close with this. And that magnification, I'm having a second look at that magnification. That magnification may be spot on. I don't necessarily think that it really is. I think it should be a little bit bigger than that. But that could be explained away with, hey, it's replacement crystal, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, it looks very, very close. It does feel like Rolex when you're winding it. 110%, it really does. I have a couple clones here, and they're gritty when you wind them. However, Once you add that donut gasket to the inside, that grittiness will go away. How many of y'all knew that? And then it'll wind and feel like the real thing. So that's kind of how I kind of cheat the system a little bit. If I have one, and it's not a VSF, it's a VR, it's a little bit gritty, I'll put a thicker gasket, donut gasket, on the inside of that locking tube for the screw down crown. And with the friction against it, it will buffer that grittiness out, and then you won't even be able to tell. And here I am just being a little extra careful because I don't have my optics on, so I'm kind of going by feel. So I don't scratch anything up. That's a very, very, very good, that's a good representation. Now that I've had a chance to really think about it, and I'm looking at everything. That bezel, gosh darn it, it does look like it's a little thicker than what it's supposed to be. I don't know why that is. To me, that just kind of throws it off a little bit. When I'm looking at it, it's like, no. But then again, I think about it, it's like, yeah, that is the right thickness. But just first glance, it's like, no, that's not the right thickness. It's too thick. But now that I'm looking at it again, it does seem like it's the right thickness. And that's just being honest. So, yeah, when I look at that, I think well, no, that does look real now. But when I first look at it, it doesn't look that way. I like this. There is a little bit of play in the rotation. See, I can rock it. It's really not supposed to rock. That sounds pretty good. So let's do a comparison between that and a AAA. Let's go with my Bluesy. Of course, you know it was $50 off the DH Gates. Let's listen to the difference in the bezel. First, we'll do this. Lots of play in that. This feels very cheap. Sometimes it even lock up. Lots of play in that, lots of play. Now let's listen to this. That feels very smooth. That feels very good. Has a little bit of play in it. Does have a little bit of play, but nothing like that. Let's take old Rusty out over here. Not that I use Rusty for much of anything. Let's listen to Rusty in comparison. Same amount of play. We heard that. Big difference. This glides very well. Doesn't. Rusty doesn't. Okay. So it is definitely like I was thinking, and I've said once before, maybe a couple times, it is better quality, more refined. It is good. They definitely took it up a notch on that. So a lot different from a $50 fashion watch. I don't think the water resistance is anywhere different than what it is on a $50 fashion watch, because it's the same gaskets in appearance, and the case is made the same way. So, okay, yeah, that's awesome. I like this. So he wants a few things done to this. I've got to get some pricing put together. He wants more authentic parts in it. But boy, I'm going to tell you right now, a 3235 clone, with them just coming out, he's going to pay a premium for those parts. just because they're so new. Unless he knows somebody with a Rolex parts account, he's going to pay a premium, or she is going to pay a premium for those parts. And I might be able to ask a few friends that can get me some parts using their parts account, but that remains to be seen, and we'll see what we can do on that, because there's no guarantees whatsoever. So, okay, yeah, we'll give this a pass. And this is an introduction to the sub. And when the time comes, we're going to be replacing the crystal. We're going to be replacing a few other parts on the inside, doing a little bit more work on it here and there. So those will be coming up to the channel. I want to thank the subscriber so much for sending his watches and entrusting me with his watches. It means a lot to me that I'm being trusted with these. And though this is not my full-time job, and it is slower than a normal watch shop because it's not my full-time job, I want to appreciate everyone having patience with me as I work on their watches to get them back to them. It can be rather difficult. You have to wait on parts. You got to order parts. You start working on them. You go very, very slow because you don't want to screw anything up. So everything's just right. You know, I mean, you have to take your time on this, just like Rolex would do. And Rolex will keep a watch for a good while. For those who actually have one and has sent one off and had them come back, they can keep them for quite a while. So this is just another one we'll just put a notch in my belt on when we come around to it. I'll be having to look up the crystal information on it. I think an original crystal would be good to do on that. I don't know about hands. We can look into getting some 32, 35 hands, but that's going to be rather expensive. I think those are going to be a couple $100 themselves off market. Rolex parts account, they're not. I can safely say if they're anything like 31, 35 hands, those are like $98 through Rolex parts department. Like literally $100, rounded up to $100. But they're selling on eBay for a couple hundred there, you know, so just depending on where you look. So, okay, this was the introduction to the sub. I appreciate y'all taking the journey with me and exploring this watch. So, if you will, comment below, what do you think about this clone? This clone is definitely, or this replica is definitely, the movement I love. The movement, absolutely, I love. It is a good copy movement. All in all, it's more refined. I do like it. It's awesome. And so, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So it's not some junk, you know, 32, 35. That's for sure. It is a good quality replica. So everyone, thank you for watching. Comment below on what you think about this watch. I know I seem a little indecisive at times when I'm looking at it. And let's take a look at it again, just one more time. No, that looks real. I don't know what it is. Sometimes it looks thick. Sometimes it doesn't. I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah. I'd say that's a good copy. That's a very good copy. So we'll be doing some work on that in the time to come. But thank y'all for watching. I'll be coming out with another video before it's over with, and we'll see where we go from there. We're waiting for mainsprings for the other two original Rolexes I was working on. Then I got to find the mainspring to the 1601. I had bought a mainspring for it. Then I saw an old new stock 1601 spring, and I advised that owner to buy that while he could, because old new stock, genuine part, get it. And especially for the price that was. So, okay, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing in the next video. Maybe Rolex related, may not. I don't know. We will see. But I'll have another video coming up probably today sometime. So y'all be looking forward to it, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye for now.